Hey everyone, welcome back to the Heaps Creative Podcast, the show where we uncover creative archetypes and find all those creative commonalities regardless of medium. I'm your host, Tyler Jackson Chappell. In this episode, I sat down with Kristen Cowell. Kristen is a graphic designer and the founder of Kenjo Studio. In Kenjo Studio, if you've seen their work, you might think it's a team of 5, 10, 15 people, but no, it's actually just Kristen. And that one-on-one, really small team feel has allowed Kristen to create really bespoke, unique work for her clients, while also creating a really distinct vibe all throughout Kenjo's work. Another thing that was really cool about this conversation is Kristen shared her leap of faith moment, which is always really interesting to hear, that thing that makes creatives believe that they can do what they're meant to do. So I hope you'll enjoy. Cheers. Kristen, thank you for sitting down with me. Welcome to the Heaps Creative Podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Great. We'll jump straight in. What drew you to graphic design?
What drew me to graphic design? I think going back to high school days, I was a bit of a shit student, really. I hated school. I never went. I got C's and D's and E's in all my subjects except for art and design. I think it was purely just like attendance, and I just didn't really care about the subjects and stuff. And I always would bludge my lessons, and instead of going to maths or something, I'd be up in the art room doing my art homework or my design homework or whatever. And the teacher that I had at the time in year 12, she could see that I had a lot of love for design, and I remember she drove me like during school hours in her car. We went to like this museum that had all this like design stuff, and I just remember being like, yeah, I think this is what I want to do, but I don't want to jump into it too soon because I didn't want to start a degree and then pull out halfway and fall out of love in it. So I just worked full time straight out of school. And then until I knew 100%, yeah, this is what I want to do. And then I did that. And then it's funny that even at uni, I didn't really like the like work and subject type stuff that we had to create. And they say P's get degrees, and I just slid on through with some P's. And I think when I finished it, I was like, do I even want to do this? Do I enjoy it? And then I ended up getting a job through a friend. Everything I know now, I learned from that job.
And that was in a design firm?
That was in a design agency. And honestly, I don't even know how I got the job because my portfolio was crap. Everything was crap. Well, I mean, at the time I thought it was good. But yeah, it's crazy. And then I think from there is where I really kind of was like, oh yeah, I do like doing this stuff, and I do like doing this stuff, but I don't like doing this part of it, kind of thing. So yeah,
That's pretty cool. You had that teacher that's all it takes a lot of the time is one person to see something in you and foster it and encourage it, and
definitely.
It can lead to pretty crazy places.
It can.
But you said kind of you learnt most of the stuff on the job. Do you think design is a discipline that you need to go to uni for? Or are there enough like resources out there now to kind of piece it together on your own?
I think I don't want to talk people out of going to uni, but maybe, I don't know what the course is like now, but back then I had no interest in the types of things that they were teaching us because I felt like it was really outdated, and it wasn't like drawn to like the type of things that you want to do. I think the TAFE course is a lot better from what I've heard, and I'm sure there's a lot of online courses and stuff that you can do now. And I think when I was younger, got really pushed into doing is like you need to learn all the design principles and you need to learn all the rules before you can break all the rules and like that kind of stuff. But I can't see why you couldn't learn that stuff on an online course now. But I think a lot of the stuff is like, yeah, you might know the rules and you know how to do it, and there is no good and bad design. It's kind of how you interpret it and how you find your style and stuff, really. That's what people are drawn to. So I guess as long as you can't exactly sell design as a service if you haven't done some kind of course, I'd say. You can't just be like, hey, I can go on Pinterest and I can make that. I wouldn't really call that a designer. But I think if you've done some kind of background and some kind of, you know how to, the basics, I guess anyone can kind of do it, I guess.
So because I studied design, just a diploma, and I had like totally the opposite experience. Like I kind of found a way, and I did it was all studying online, but managed to kind of twist every assessment to what I was interested in, which was kind of the illustration part of it. So I would do every assessment, make it as illustration heavy as I could. But like in retrospect was probably a mistake because I don't think I got the most well-rounded experience. But yeah, I guess, like you said, each to their own.
And I guess looking back at the stuff that they kind of taught us at uni, it was like they're trying to show you how to unpack the little nitty-gritty things and like try and find your unique style and how there's different ways to just being like straight on the computer, here's a typeface as a logo kind of thing. It was like a lot of hands-on cutting out things, and I guess that is a way to kind of do stuff that is unique. But at the time I was like, I just want to go in and just make it. So I don't know, I guess it depends what you want to get out of it, really. If you want to kind of see what you're interested in, and you might not know that there's different types of ways you can create things and different avenues to go down and that kind of thing, it could be beneficial for somebody. So yeah.
And how is that different from kind of the education you got working for an agency?
Oh, I jumped into the work and they were like, cool, can you do this for me? You've got like 3 days to get it done. I'm like, what do you mean? Whereas at uni, they're like, you've got the entire semester to do that. And you're kind of just like, oh crap, like, right. I think uni just does not prepare you for the real world at all. Like, you know, you've always got someone over your shoulder, and you have that in design agencies and stuff to help you. But yeah, it's a lot more fast paced. It's a lot more like, you can't just make whatever you want to make. Like, you got to make what your client wants, but you got to put your own kind of spin on it. Like, sometimes your client will come to you and they're like, oh, I want this. And you're like, but why do you want that? So it really made me kind of understand that you don't just make what the client wants. Well, you can, but you kind of want to push them to kind of be like, well, if you just want that, then you're just going to look like every other Joe Blow. Like, do you want to look unique? Do you want to do that kind of thing? So I think, I learnt a lot of like the unpacking of everything there. And everything else, really.
And that's still like, there's a reason they're not designing the stuff themselves. I think that's the benefit of going to a professional graphic designer is
definitely,
they're going to see things that a client isn't. Did you feel like a decent amount of creative freedom in that space, or did you feel quite constricted?
Constricted. I think that's why I kind of ended up going out on my own. I think it was good in the way that, I thought I knew how to design things, but I didn't. And like learning more about the process and, presenting things to clients and like that kind of thing. But I was at an agency that was very much well known for like real estate branding. There were other things as well. And anytime something else came up, I'd always be like, pick me. But it was kind of a bit more corporate-y and a little bit more structured, and whereas I was always trying to push the boundaries, and my work could be like, you got to rein it in a little bit. Like, remember, it's bit more corporate than that. I guess I wanted to kind of be a bit more playful with everything when I wasn't really able to. So I struggled a little bit in some briefs, but I guess it was kind of a good thing at the same time because I realised what I like to do and what I don't like to do.
And maybe that's something, like you said, that uni doesn't necessarily prepare you for the real world in this kind of sense, is the idea that like you get paid for what you've already done.
Yeah, that's it. And like, I guess I found that at the agency I kind of get, you know, they're like, here's a brief, make it. And you're like, oh, okay, I just will twist my style to make something that you want me to make. Whereas now, people come to me because they like my style. So it makes everything a lot more easier and enjoyable. Yeah.
And did you like intentionally create that style, or did you kind of find that, again, like you get paid for what you make, or did clients find you because they liked what you were doing, or kind of the other way around?
I think at the start I was just, you mean like when I left?
Yeah.
Yeah. At the start I was kind of just making whatever I could, or like whatever jobs came to me. But I was only kind of showing the work that I wanted to get. So I was only showing the more kind of fun, colourful, kind of creative stuff in hope that they were the jobs that I would attract. And then eventually they did. So most clients that come to me now, I'm like, yep, like, because they see my stuff and they're like, I just love everything that you make. And I'm like, well, if you love everything I make, I'm going to make you something that's kind of the same. So not the same, but like in the same vibe.
And I think like I just want to bookmark that for anyone listening, like who is interested in this. Like that's a really important thing, is like for your portfolio. Yeah, showing what you want to do.
Yeah, don't
as
just
much as what you've done.
Don't just put everything on your portfolio. Like if you didn't enjoy it, or if you didn't have much of the output on what you made, don't push it, kind of thing. Like I feel like if a client comes to me and they're like, I want these colours, I want this, I want that, and I'm like, and I try and sway them away from it, but sometimes they're just like, no, this is what I want. I'm not going to push that, because I'm like, that's not my flair. Like that's you coming to me and like, make this for me, kind of thing. So yeah, I don't usually post those kind of jobs. I'm like, I didn't really make that. You kind of made it and you told me what you wanted. So yeah.
But that doesn't necessarily mean you don't take the job. Like,
no.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love to one day be able to be like, no. And if you don't want my creative flair and my ideas, then I don't really want to help you. I mean, I do, but like, I guess I kind of want to attract the people that come to me and they're like, I just love everything you do it, kind of thing. So, which is sort of happening.
Great.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's good.
And like photography is a part of your offering as well. Did you already have a passion for that, or did you start taking photos as kind of part of your design journey?
I think it was just like a hobby and a passion. And then like every time like me and my partner, and we love camping and like just being out in the ocean and that kind of stuff. And I feel like I just was drawn to taking photos of that kind of stuff. And then I was like, oh, well, if a client's vibe fits that kind of style, then I can take the photos for the client. Doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to take photos for every client, because sometimes I'm like, that's not like something I can help you with. You're better off going with this person or whatever. But if it's like outdoorsy, natural light kind of, I don't know, I'm drawn to taking those photos of things. And I guess, I don't know, it's weird, like I wouldn't call myself a photographer at all, but people were like, oh, they'll take a picture of something and I'll take a picture of the exact same thing, and they're like, how does yours just look so much better? And I'm like, I don't know, composition, like where you're placing the object or that kind of thing. And
do you think that's those design principles like that have like somehow burrowed their way down?
Maybe, I don't know. And like maybe the stuff that I did learn at uni was helpful and I just didn't realise it. I don't know. But yeah, just kind of was a hobby that I've tried to start including.
Because it does like definitely have like a similar feel to your design. And do you have kind of the same creative feeling in both of those things?
I think so. I think I enjoy doing them all, and I think when you enjoy doing it, it just comes easy and like naturally, and yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's funny that I don't even have to like try or think. It just like happens.
I guess that's the whole point of like, a personal style,
Yeah.
which is like something that's very cool. Like you definitely have like a feel to your work. And we spoke kind of prior to this and you said like you want to avoid trends and everything. But again, like yours has a very kind of unique, specific style. But I think all artworks have kind of waxing and waning looks and
Yeah.
vibes and...
Yeah.
And I guess in the art world, and design especially, they're movements, not trends.
Yes.
What do you think the difference is between like a movement and a trend?
I don't know exactly, but I feel like you can be trendy without being on trend. You can be different without, I guess, being on trend is copying each other. Whereas trendy or a movement as such, it's like you're kind of dipping your fingers into certain things. So you're in the era of whatever, but you don't look exactly the same as every other person kind of thing. But it's funny that, I made a brand a few years ago for a client, and I don't know if you know this or not, but like the colours were brown, light blue, and I think there was like a beigey colour in there too. And now everything I see on Pinterest is brown and light blue, and I'm like, oh my God, if I could turn back time, I never would have picked those colours for that client, and like, because that's just like so on trend now, and I'm like, yeah, so I try and stay away from trends, but being still trendy. I don't know. I don't even know if that answers the question.
Yeah, sure. Is that a conscious decision for you though? Like, are you actively avoiding it, or are you just really leaning into like personal, like you said, these ideas are so like ingrained in you now? Is it just like a trusting your own?
I think I try and avoid it.
Yeah.
Because when I create a brand for somebody, I don't go, yep, let's go these colours and let's go these fonts. It's like it's more the strategy type thing. I'm digging into, the why, the who, what, when, where it's located, like all these kind of things. Like, why did you start it? And really trying to nitpick really small things within their business or whatever it is that they're starting, product, to hone in on those things that make them unique and make them special. And then we design the brand around those. So in that case, it's not as if, we're not copying something from somebody else, because it's so uniquely them that if somebody copied them, then they're just being like, it's like, why did you pick that? Like, you're like, oh, because it's cool. But it's like, I picked that because, that layout means this, or every little thing that I try and design for somebody has a meaning behind it, like the font, the colours, the layouts, like everything. Like if you read through all my rationales and all my stuff, it's every little decision for every little thing was made specifically for that client. So yeah, I don't just go on Pinterest and go, hey, that's cool, let's copy that. Whereas I feel like a lot of designers are too caught up in like what looks good rather than the meaning behind things.
Why do you think that is?
Because I think that gets the jobs. I don't know.
Do you think that's a product of like, especially a visual kind of practice like graphic design, mainly being showcased on like social media and kind of these ephemeral spaces where you need to be on trend to get seen?
And I think there are a lot of designers who are doing that because a lot of clients think that that's what they need. They think that they need to be on trend. But if you're on trend, you're just going to get like lost, and then in 3 years time
You need a rebrand.
you need a rebrand. You're not on trend anymore. So, yeah, and I've seen it so many times, and I like a Pilates studio in Adelaide that I saw pop up once, and I went, well, that's cool for now, but in a year's time, you'll go out of business. And I think they did. And like, there's been products that I've seen, and I'm like, that's cool for now. But like, your whole brand is based around that one specific trend. That if you get in a year's time, you know, you change your colours, you change your fonts, people are going to be so confused. They're going to be like, is this still the same business? Or is this a new business? Like, so yeah, consistency and uniqueness.
Okay, a bit of an ethical question as a graphic designer. Like, and I know the answer to this, but like, is it better to create something that is maybe not necessarily timeless, but going to stand the test of time a little more? Still feels contemporary, still feels fresh, but going to stand the test of time? Or those trendy things that'll mean you'll have constant work?
I would try and push people to be a bit more timeless, and I think this is where branding as such, some people just don't get it. So some people are like, my logo needs to be the hero, but your logo, if you've got a good brand, you should be able to remove your logo from your brand and everything should still look the same. So in that case, I feel like timeless, yes, but I don't know, it's hard because you kind of want to be a little bit of both. I don't know, yeah. I think timeless in a such of like, you don't want your fonts and your colours to be the main hero part of your branding if they are very out there. Because that could be a trend that then you will end up having to change later down the track, and you lose that consistency, you lose that like connection with your audience. So if they're picked more based on who you are, why you're doing it, that kind of thing, then it's more about you. And unless your entire business plan and model and everything changes down the track, it should still be uniquely you. So then I guess it could kind of be a bit of both. I don't know.
Well, I guess this is one of those things people who maybe aren't interested in design or branding think about, how much like back-end decision making goes on in the process, and like how much psychology is a part of it and how much like sociology is a part of it.
Yeah.
And yeah, just something people don't think about if they're not kind of engaged with design.
Yeah, definitely. And I think as well, some designers, or I guess like, this is something that I think I remember learning at uni, is like they teach you, you know, pick blue because blue means trust, and like pick red because red means love, but red means danger. Love and danger are polar opposites, and like stuff like that. So it's like, if you're choosing your colors based on, you know, that psychology and stuff, I don't know, I just think that's a bit of bullshit, really. Yeah, I don't know. You go for it if that's what you think works. But, you know, I've made a post about this like ages ago, and it's like blue, like banks pick blue because it's trust, but like who the hell trusts Facebook? Who the hell trusts Facebook? Like that kind of stuff. And it's like, did they pick those colours because they think that, or like green? Oh my God, we're going to make a fresh organic brand. Let's do green. Green means mould. So it's like, don't pick those things purely because you think that that's the association with it. Yeah, I don't know.
Have you developed your own kind of personal color psychology, or like things that you put into your branding because you believe they mean certain things? Or is it more of an intuitive, each client is going to have a different framework from which you decide this is what they need?
I think each client is different. And also I do a lot of research in like who their competitors are and that kind of thing. So, you know, you obviously don't want to look like your competitors. So if you've got your top 3 competitors all use the colour orange, I'm not going to put orange anywhere near your stuff. So it's kind of, I want my clients to leave almost being like scared. That would be like, I've had that before. They're like, I don't know about this. Are you sure that that's the path we should go down? I'm like, yes, you should. And they're like, okay, I trust you. And then they come out of it and they're like, you're so right. Like, yeah. So I think, I don't know, each different.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I mean, you've kind of alluded to a lot of this up to this point. But what is like the super detailed process, start to finish, of you working with a client?
So if a client reaches out to me, I have to make sure that they're the right fit first. So usually just like, if they're local, grab a coffee, make it super casual. If not, just like a phone call or a video call or whatever, just to kind of really get them to explain their business, who they are, that kind of thing. And then pretty much from there, I'd be like, yep, I feel like we'll be the right fit. Or, you know, if they want something slightly more corporate or whatever, to be honest, like, I don't know if this is something that I can help you with. But from there, like, if they're the right fit, then it's a very collaborative, and I really want the client to feel like they're involved. So I'll kind of be like, these are things, or I'll be like, what do you think you need? And then I'll be like, right, well, these are things that I think you need. And usually they're like, oh, I didn't even think about that or whatever. So we kind of work out what they need. Then we'll go through like the strategy stuff behind it all. A lot of the time people end up leaving like, I didn't even think about my business like that. Or like, yeah, there's so many things that people leave like, oh, maybe I need to think about this section a little bit more or whatever. Then we work on like a visual kind of mood boardy direction so that they know what they're in for, kind of thing. And then like that's again really collaborative. And then when that's all approved, I'll go away, make some stuff, and then I'll present it to them. And then, you know, 9 times out of 10 they're like, holy crap, what the hell, this is better than I expected. And then, yeah, from there we can make changes together till they're 100% happy. And yeah, so it's a really, and I try and make my clients feel comfortable, because I'm like, I could show them this and they could turn around and hate it, but I want them to feel comfortable telling me they don't like it. But that doesn't really happen. So yeah, I think the collaborative project, or like process, makes people feel really comfortable. And like, I'm the person that they're communicating with, I'm the person doing the work, so it's like me the whole way through. And I guess like agency life, it's a bit different and things get lost in translation. And yeah, I don't know, did that answer your question?
Yeah, no, that's great.
Okay, good.
And this is, so I read it was 5 years of school, 5 years at the agency, and then you went out on your own and started Kenjo Studios.
Yeah.
Were these all like that process? Was that something you mentioned kind of earlier, that you saw things that you really liked in the agency? Was that you taking what you liked, or was this something when you decided to go freelance and start your own thing, you kind of had to learn on the job and kind of figure out what worked? Or did you come in with a pretty like, no, this is exactly how I want to attack this?
I think a bit of both. And I think like a lot of the process stuff, yes, but I changed it. And I think when I first went out on my own, I did a lot of things in the way that I knew how to do it, which was agency life. And I came to a lot of crossroads, and, you know, there were a lot of things that I was like, oh, this isn't working for me. I need to work out a way that I can tweak this and change this and stuff. So to get the process exactly what I'm doing now, you know, I've still made changes to it up until now. And I left, I don't know how many years ago, I can't remember now, but yeah, and I'm still making changes to that now, just until it's like easy flowing for me. But yeah, I don't know, a lot of stuff is different to what it was back then.
In the industry, in like the design world, or for you specifically?
For me specifically, right. Yeah. I don't know what people are doing out there, but for me this works, so I'm just going to do it. Yeah.
Awesome. Was it scary going out on your own?
Yeah. I'd thought about it for so long, and I have a few people to thank for that. And I have this lady that I was doing a lot of freelance work for, and she kept pushing me. She was like, do it. I'm like, nah, too scared, don't want to, like, you know, try and buy a house and all this stuff. She's like, no, do it. And I'm like, nah. And then like it'd be like 6 months later, and I'd be like, oh. She'd be like, do it. Come on, do it. And I'll be like, no. She's like, if it scares you, it's the right thing to do. And I was like, all right. It's funny, I actually took like a bit of a promotion at my job to become like the head designer because she went on maternity leave. And I think I was living down here and that agency was in Adelaide. And they were like, all right, well, we need you to be in the office more. And I was like, oh, I don't really want to be in the office more. And it was like, obviously it came with a lot more responsibility and that kind of stuff, which I was fine. But then I was like, do I actually want this? Like, am I actually happy doing this stuff? And then, yeah, I came home one day and spoke to that lady and she was like, do it. And I was like, okay. And that was a Friday, and then on the Monday I just put in my letter and I was shaking. I remember being so scared. And I was like, what if I fail? I can just go work in the pub or in a cafe. Like, it's fine. And yeah, but I think if it scares you, do it.
That's something I always ask people about, because it's something I've found like such a common thread for creatives is there's always a mentor. There's always somebody who, whether it was like, your high school teacher or this woman that's, kind of push you to take that next big step.
Yeah, I'm glad I did it.
Is there anyone else, or those are the kind of the big ones?
I think they're kind of the big ones. Like, there were always people saying do it, but it's like, were they just saying that to like encourage you and like that kind of thing? But they were really the big ones. And my partner, he was great. Like, I remember coming home and had a shit day at work, and he was like, oh, well, just quit then. If you don't like it, just leave. And I was like, okay. And he was like, wait, really? And I was like, well, should I? And he was like, well, if you want to do it, like, you know, you got to be serious about it, kind of thing. And then, yeah, he was like, well, if it doesn't make you happy, do it. And I'm like, okay. And then, I just remember coming home that Monday after I did it, and I was like, I did it. And he was like, you didn't do it. I don't believe you. And I was like, no, I did. And he was like, all right, well, this is it then. Like, we're doing this kind of thing. And so, he's been good. But I think he kind of wishes that he was some kind of creative so he could do the same thing. He's like, you just get to go to cafes and work every day. I'm like, no, it's good.
Yeah. What about in the actual, like, you're developing your style? Like, did you have any people that you looked up to or that kind of had a direct hand in influencing that?
I don't think any specific. I think it was kind of a self journey type thing, finding the style. It just was like what I liked doing. I mean, I would always see things online and like, or not even just online, like going for a walk or like going to art galleries or going whatever, and I'd be like, that's cool, I like that, I like this. And then I guess kind of everything I started thinking that I liked from all different types of things in the world, everything kind of not looked the same but had a similar vibe to it, I guess. And I was like, well, I guess that's what I like. So yeah.
So you did kind of pull inspiration from all different places? All
different places. Like, even now when I create things for people, like, I try and avoid looking at Pinterest, because everybody looks at Pinterest and everyone just copies each other from Pinterest. And I'm like, I've seen that exact same brand 10 different times. So I try and avoid things like that. And I love it when I can show inspiration. Obviously, it depends on who the client is. But, like, I remember I don't know if you know her, Chloe. Shout out to Chloe. She lives down here, and her brand was all about the inspiration from nature. And, like, so none of our inspiration pictures were anything from online. It was, like, going for a walk and taking pictures of, like, the movement and the shapes in the cliffs, and, like, zoomed in pictures of, like, the patterns in, like, leaves and stuff like that. And that was, like, I was like, this is the best. So yeah, just drawing inspiration from going for a walk along the beach, the textures and the patterns and like all that kind of stuff, or like going to a vintage shop and the labels on like old cans and bottles. And I remember going for a walk through Port Elliot, and there's like all these old beautiful shops, and I just stopped and like looked at all the like painted type on them and like all that kind of stuff, and I thought that's cool. Like that's way better than just looking online and being like, what fonts are trending kind of thing. So yeah, I guess.
And that's something people probably aren't getting if they're working with an agency. I'm sure there are there's obviously amazing designers within agencies who are really, really care. But that's something you're definitely getting going with a small business.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think with an agency, it's like they might have 10 designers working for them, and they're like, here's a brief, and you just have to make it, whether that's their style or not. Whereas you go to a small company or single person type thing, you're going because you like their vibe and their inspiration and their that kind of thing. So you know,
and also them as a person. I think that actually matters.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
Something I've definitely learned from being in the art world and stuff is obviously there are exceptions if you're a world class artist, which the top 0.01% of artists are. But other than that, art doesn't exist in a vacuum. You're using, whether if it is design or something, or if you're buying a piece of art, you're buying a piece of that person. So 100%. To have a relationship with them and to know that they're a nice person goes a really long way.
It's funny because I've gone through waves of when I first left, it's I chose the name of my business Kenjo Studio because I didn't want to put my name behind it. And I'm like, oh no, people don't want to work with a single person, they want to work with a multi-person agency. And that's because I came from agency land. That's the vibe that I thought I needed to be to make it. And it's funny how I've just shifted and changed over time. And every time I show my face, people are like, yeah, and they love it. And I'm like, okay, all right, it's me. It's just me. Hey, I'm not a multi-person agency. And I feel like people are just loving that. And they're like, yeah, I want you. I want you to do the work, kind of thing. So it's I've fully changed over time just to show my face more.
Which is a hard thing. It's a
so
hard thing to do.
It's just, I'm just not a TikToker and I'm not that kind of thing. And I just feel so it's, but I think people want to work with people and they want that connection. So that's what I try and push now.
Yeah. Little sidebar, where did the name Kenjo Studios come from?
It's funny. It just, I don't know, I just saw the word one day and was like, that's cool. And I liked the way that the letters all work together. And I was like, I just wrote it down and I was like, one day I'm going to use the word Kenjo for something. I don't know, a dog or whatever. And then I started the business. I was like, oh, let's just use that. Meant nothing. And I looked it up and I was like, oh, it's a Japanese name for a boy. But I did dig deeping into it, and it means creativity. And I was like, well, there you go.
Obviously
perfect.
Meant to be.
It was meant to be. But at the start, I just was doing it because I thought I never heard it before. I liked the way that the letters all looked and that kind of thing. And I think when people are choosing names for their business, it doesn't always have to mean something. It could, depending on what your business is. I talk so much about everything having meaning and stuff, but I've got a process of when you're choosing a name for your business as well, and it's all these different, it could just be a whatever name. You think Apple, they have nothing to do with apples, it's tech. So your name could be something completely random. If it works, it works.
Do you have many clients bring you on at that point where you're involved in the naming, or?
Yes and no. I've had a few that have liked my ideas, and then I've had a few that have been not liked my ideas. So it's kind of all right, well, that's the you part of the business. If you don't want, and I think a lot of people are if they're handing over every other part of the creativity to somebody else, them naming the business feels like they've kind of done something, put their 2 cents into it kind of thing. So I feel like most people come to it with a name, although some people are like, I've got options, and they'll just ask for my opinion. They'll be like, I don't like that one, that's too obvious, or like, yeah, I don't know. So yeah.
And obviously now, like, you have like enough work that's your style, people are seeing that and they're coming to you for that. When you first started, like, how did you go about finding clients as a freelancer?
I was doing it on the side originally.
Right, okay.
So I kind of would, work full time, and I'd come home and I'd do it at night or on the weekends or whatever. And then I don't even know how, but down here there's so much word of mouth, and everybody just wants to use local and community and that kind of thing, which I think has been a massive help for my business. But like, I did like Pippi's Cafe. That was one of the first ones that I did, and everyone was like, I just loved what you did. Like, can you do some stuff for me? Okay. And then I'd do some stuff for them. And then they would tell people, or people would see that. And then just, I think being here really helped, because there was nobody down here doing it. And yeah, everyone was just, I want to support local and that kind of thing. And then it just, took off.
It's an interesting one. Like, I think a lot of people would think like, oh, you need to be in a city because there's more people, there's more work, which in some ways is true, but also in a place like this, being like semi-regional, there aren't as many of those big chain like
Definitely.
businesses. Like, most of the businesses are local people who own a small business. So like a bigger percentage
and I
need
think,
branding. And
at the start I was like, oh, I don't know if it's going to be beneficial for me, if it's going to like be a bad thing, because I thought, everyone down here is small business. They don't have like the money to spend on branding. They might just want to do it themselves, or there's a lot of elderly people or that kind of thing. So I initially thought it actually would be a bad thing, but it's turned out to be a really good thing. And I didn't realize at the time how many people down here are all self-employed, or they all start their own thing. And yeah, it's great.
Just got to jump in.
Yeah, that's it. But no, it's good, because, and then I think when I started posting about that kind of stuff, then it spread, and then other people. So I've been doing stuff for people interstate, and a few random people overseas and stuff. So yeah, it's definitely helped. And social media, I guess, stuff just gets seen and whatever, and yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. And you've spoken a lot about kind of the very personal aspect of being a one-man show. That also takes up a lot of time. And you're a new mum, which, congratulations.
Thank you.
How have you gone about balancing that? Like, especially, like starting your own thing, having a young child, and like what you're doing is so involved with clients. How have you gone about balancing it?
Hard. I think, originally I went back to work for 2 reasons. 1, money, and 2, I missed it and I really enjoyed doing it. But then it's like, my boy, he's just about to turn 1, and it's like, there's a guilt feeling. And I think Ailish spoke about this in one of your previous episodes. Like, you want to be spending as much time with them as you can, but you enjoy doing it, so you kind of need to do it to become a better mum and that kind of thing. But yeah, I think I'm lucky in the sense that, he's at childcare 3 days a week. But at the same time, I feel guilty for putting him in childcare 3 days a week. But to be able to create, I need me time kind of thing. But yeah, it's like finding the time. And I think before he was in childcare, trying to just get something done while he napped. And it's like, you start something, but you can't ever involve yourself in it fully, because I find that I do something and I focus in, and that's what I'm doing for the day. So sometimes I don't reply to people's emails for a few days because I'm like, no, I'm focusing on the actual creative part of this. And yeah, I think before having a kid, I was always doing something else, not just work creative. I was doing paintings or, sewing or whatever. I was always doing something creative, little project on the side. Well, I'm not really doing that anymore because I don't have time for that. And I'd love to be able to do that. But I think when he's a little bit older, I want to do it with him. Yeah, so that I don't just stop doing it completely, I guess. But yeah, I think it's hard. And if I'm not in the creative mood at the time, if I haven't slept, because he's not the best sleeper, it's hard to get into that creative flow. But yeah, I don't know. Just want to spend every day with him, but you can't. But then, I saw a quote in a book the other day, and it was something along the lines of, if you're a creative person, sometimes it's like you need to be that selfish and do creative things because it makes you a better person, it makes you happier, and if you're happier, you're going to be a better mum, kind of thing. And I was like, yeah, that resonates with me.
Yeah, so, like you can't pour from an empty cup.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's such a tough one because my little girl's about to turn 3. And like yesterday was one of the first times we were able to go outside and paint together. And I was painting a canvas and she was painting something else. And we had a good like half an hour before she started to paint what I was painting.
Yeah.
And it is just that the guilt is so real and it's such a tricky thing to balance. But like you said, and I think for everyone, but especially creative people, to have that outlet is such an important and integral part of being a human.
Yeah, and I think while they're still so young, it's hard, and that's where I think the guilt hits the most because you can't do those things when they're there. But when they get a little bit older and I'm hoping that he wants to, do those things with me and stuff, so then you can involve them a lot more. But yeah, for now, while they're a bit young and can't really, or like don't enjoy it, or their attention span will last 5 minutes and then they want to do something else. Yeah, I think it's important.
So do you have any advice for mums who are doing creative work or?
I don't know.
Maybe advice might not be the right word. Like, what's worked for you?
I think when he was younger and he would nap, or before he was born as well, I really got into sewing, but I was making things for him. So I guess I was involving him in a way that he didn't know, but I had a purpose of doing things. But now, I don't know, I think even if you can't, sit down and do a painting, or you can't sit down and, whatever, you can be creative and like go to the beach, and like I take him to the beach every day and we play with shells and we build towers with shells and playing in the sand and stuff. Like, I know it's not really creating art or creating something, but it's, I don't know, you're still kind of creating something, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Trying to just find little things. It might not be the same as what you're doing before.
Just finding the new version of it.
Yeah, just find the new version of it, and then hopefully you can get back into it. I don't know.
It's just always going to keep changing.
Yeah, that's it. I feel like I can't really give any advice because I don't really even know what I'm doing. Every day's different. So, but yeah.
What about for people who are interested in graphic design or just like a creative career, especially because I think where graphic design can kind of stand apart is there is a little bit of a clearer kind of way to making it a career. Like, what is your advice for people who are interested?
I think if you've got the passion for it, then you'll really stick with it. Like, you've got to really find what you like to do, because you can make a brand for somebody. Doesn't mean you're going to enjoy the process of it, but once you've found what you like to do, it becomes so much easier, and every job is fun. But I don't know how I even found what I liked to do. I don't know, you just kind of, I don't know. I don't know how to answer that, really. Just keep going, and then when you find what you enjoy, it just kind of comes naturally, I guess.
I mean, just listening to you speak, it feels like it was kind of destined to happen. Like, you had that teacher kind of take you on that little field trip, and then you got the job. You said you didn't know how you got it, and even though you didn't maybe love the agency work, like, it sounds like it really taught you a lot of things and gave you the tools.
It taught me so much. I feel like everything that I know now, I learnt at agency. So I think if you're going to be self-taught, or even straight from uni, I never would have been able to make it where I am now without working at that agency. So I definitely think that being around people who are creative as well, in all different ways, like, you know, we had people who were better at copywriting, we had people who were better at, you know, the branding part, we had people who were all different types of the stuff, but they all came together and they worked as a team. And I think, just learning everything from, I would never be able to do what I'm doing now without working there. Like, the process, the communicating with clients, the everything. Finding the style, I guess, even just, I guess, so for advice is that don't just, unless you're a super confident person, you know exactly what you want to do and how to do it, I wouldn't just jump straight out and risk it all. But maybe you do need to risk it all. I don't know.
When you're ready. Or when you're not quite ready.
Yeah.
When other people are telling you you're ready.
Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously, like, all of those things led to you doing what you're doing now, and really cool projects. Do you have any one project that you're most proud of? And obviously all of them to an extent, but is there any, maybe one that stands out?
It's funny because I feel like every project I finish, I go, yeah, that was my favourite. And then I'll do another one of that. No, that one was my favourite. I think I'm still learning as I go. And I'm still finding different ways to think and different ways to express things, that I think every new project I do, for me, gets better and better. Maybe I'm pushing deeper. Maybe I'm doing, I don't know. I think, so I just did a brand a little while ago now, Somewhere South. It's a place up in Wollonga, and they're just done like wine, but it's going to become like a venue, and then they're going to do some like tiny homes and stuff. But every tiny little decision I made for that, they were there for the whole ride. They're like, yes, like, you, whatever. And I was like, as I explained everything, they were like, it could have been the ugliest brand in the whole entire world, but because I explained it to them and everything had meaning, they were like, yes, like this, yes, everything makes so much sense. And I think, like, I'm talking the colours. I went there and I took photos of the land, and every colour came from a photo. The pattern was patterns in like the rocks and patterns in the trees and that kind of thing. So, and then like even the logo, like the word south is like staggered south. So like every tiny little detail meant something, and I think that's what I enjoy. And I think, but then before that, I can't even think of another brand, but it would just be the same. I don't know, it changes. And then I've just been working on one now. I don't know if I'm allowed to say who it is or not, but it's a lifestyle brand, and their story is incredible. And it's all about like the history, and like it's a brand that's gonna last, and like it's, everything from it is amazing, and I can't wait to show it. And it's like, I think because there's so much history and there's story and it's all shown visually. Like at first glance from a random person, they'd be like, oh, that looks cool. But like if they realised what everything meant, they'd be like, oh wow, okay, cool. Like that's like that because it's from there and all that kind of thing. So yeah, I don't know. Every project, the latest one I'm working on just gets cooler and cooler for me, I guess. Yeah.
Well, that might answer my next question, because if you're continuing to grow and, like you said, go deeper and deeper, what does Kenjo Studios look like in 5 years? Or what does your creative life look like in 5 years?
I think if you'd asked me this question pre-baby, it would be a completely different answer. But now, I like where I am. I think the projects that I'm attracting now are better. Not better, but like bigger, and there's a lot more creative freedom. I think in a similar position to where I am now, I would say, but maybe slightly bigger projects, less smaller ones. So I think I would like maybe less turnover in jobs and more slowing down the process, and people who have got a little bit more elements to create things with. And I guess I want people to come to me and just be like, here you go, you do everything, and I'll be like, all right, cool, give me the full freedom, like that would be amazing. But I don't know, I don't think I would change too much.
How long does a job take normally?
Well, it can depend on everything, so it depends on what's involved. Like some people have, like I'll collaborate with photographers, copywriters, like that kind of thing. So if it's everything from strategy to design to website to that kind of thing, it can be months. If it's just a very small kind of branding job, it could be a couple of weeks, could be a bit more than a couple of weeks. You never know if my child's sick from childcare and he's at home that week, then everything gets pushed back a week. So couple of weeks to a couple of months. To that Somewhere South brand was a year, and like that's still gonna be continuing on, the more that they finish their renovations and all that kind of stuff. So some jobs can go for a few years, some jobs can be a couple of weeks.
Cool. Is there anything else you want to share, you want to plug? Where can people find you?
On my website, on Instagram. That's about it. I don't have TikTok. I'm not that kind of person. They can, I don't know. There's nothing else that I think I really need to push out. I don't know. I think we've covered a lot of stuff. I think I just really want to start showing my face more. I'm actually working with Renata. She's down here. Her business is Lor Vis, and she's going to be taking some photos and videos of me, which will be different for me to do and be in front of the camera instead of behind the camera. But we've got some really cool ideas and just different ways of showing me and my work, rather than just your typical kind of face photos. I don't know. So stay tuned. Hopefully they look good. But I have full faith in her. Her creative freedom and everything is very down my alley. So I'll be showing my face a lot more.
Awesome.
Which at the start I did not want to do at all. I wanted to be a faceless company, but now I'm just like all about showing the face. So
Great. Kristen, thank you so much for sitting down and chatting.
Anytime. Thank you for having me.
As always, thank you for tuning in to the Heaps Creative Podcast. This episode was recorded on Ngarrindjeri, Ramindjeri land on the Fleurieu Peninsula. And to support the show, you can keep listening, you can follow along on socials, or you can head to the podcast website, rss.com/podcast/heapscreative, and support the show financially if you'd like. I'll see you next time. Cheers.